Hello guys, it's Steve here. It is Monday, July 11th, 2016 at 10:14 p.m. Get a sip of my 2-liter Coca-Cola. I'm eating some pizza. I got a Domino's pizza. It's an entire 2-liter for me. I'm gonna get diabetes. Who gives a shit? We're all gonna die anyway at some point, so I'm not gonna quit drinking and eating the foods and drinks that I love just to prevent disease or diabetes. Fuck that. Again, we're all gonna die at some point, so who gives a shit? Watching the news right now, somebody got shot in Chicago. Yeah, fuck that. Always shootings in Chicago. But, anyways, yeah. Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm gonna do a video of, a Gary Bettman rant. You know, the NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. Yeah, I'm gonna do a rant on him. Gary Bettman. Now if you're a hockey fan, I'm sure all of you guys hate this guy. I mean, every hockey fan has to, or at least majority of NHL fans hate this guy. Because he doesn't know how to run the NHL. He is a horrible commissioner. He does a lot of stupid things and tries to change the game. Now, I'm gonna tell you reasons why he is a horrible commissioner and why he sucks. Reason number one, the NHL has had 3 lockouts since he has been commissioner. 3 lockouts! Are you kidding me? 3 lockouts. I mean, the first one was in 1994 and 1995. That was a year before I was born, so I wasn't alive for that lockout. There was a lockout that year. There ended up being a hockey season, but there ended up being 48 games or whatever that year. And the Devils ended up winning the Stanley Cup, but, yeah. And there ended up being a second lockout 10 years later in the 2004-2005 season. There was a second lockout. And that year, there ended up not being a hockey season at all. The lockout did not end. Now, I didn't get into hockey until 2006, when around the time the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. That's when I got into hockey. But, hang on, let me turn down the TV. It's kind of distracting me. Just the news. But, I didn't get into hockey until 2006, a year after the lockout. So, luckily I didn't, experience that one. That one, there ended up not being a hockey season. And I can just imagine, I can't even imagine how depressed and bored these hockey fans and the players were. There was no season, no playoffs, no Stanley Cup. I can't imagine that. That would suck. Luckily, I wasn't in the hockey that year. But there was no season that season. And there was a third lockout in 2012-2013. A third one. That's the only lockout that I experienced, and my God, I remember that. It sucked. I remember, I didn't hear about the lockout until July of 2012. I'm like, oh no, there's gonna be another lockout? There better not be. And the lockout just continued through September. There was no preseason. October, November, December, early January, there was no hockey. I remember there were some times where the lockout could have ended and they came close to a deal to end the lockout, but they would always fail to come up with an agreement. I'm like, oh no. Nice, now there's not going to be hockey. Fuck this shit. And they would come close to an agreement again. Oh my god, there's going to be... They could come up with an agreement. The lockout can end tonight. Or tomorrow morning. Oh shit. They still haven't came up with an agreement. You know... It just wouldn't end until January of 2013. I remember I was at my dad's one morning. I remember he woke me up and he broke the news that the lockout ended. I was fucking happy. So there ended up being a hockey season, luckily. I was kind of scared it would be like '05 when there was no season. I didn't want to experience that. You know, I love watching the Stanley Cup in June. But, you know... Thankfully, the lockout ended. There ended up being a hockey season. There was only 48 games or whatever. The regular season, and there was basically hockey every day. I remember every week there was hockey almost every day, which was awesome. And the season ended up ending late than usual. Usually a season ends in early April. Or whatever, but it ended at the end of April and the playoffs begun in the beginning of May. That would usually be the second round of the playoffs starts in beginning of May. That's when the first round begun, and the Stanley Cup was in June. And you know, I got to watch the Blackhawks. That's my favorite team, my number one favorite team. The Flyers and the Jets and Maple Leafs, Flames, Oilers are other teams I like, but got to see the Blackhawks go 24 games undefeated and win the Stanley Cup that year, which was awesome. That was great. So I'm glad there ended up being a season, or else the Hawks wouldn't have won the Cup that year. But you know, and Gary Bettman, you know, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fourth lockout. I hope not. I really hope there's not a fourth lockout. That'll suck, you know? How does this guy even still have a job as the NHL commissioner? You know? What the fuck? And he doesn't give a shit if it pisses us fans off and there's no hockey and we're bored. All he gives a shit is money. But yeah, that's one reason why Bettman sucks, because there's been 3 lockouts since he's been commissioner. Another reason Gary Bettman sucks, he puts teams in cities that shouldn't even have a team and ignores cities that should have a team, or take teams in cities that should have a team and moves them to shitty cities or whatever. Like, he puts teams in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Miami, Florida, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Atlanta, and now Las Vegas? What the fuck? He keeps putting teams in the South United States where no one watches hockey, you know? And he moved the old Winnipeg Jets to Arizona, to Phoenix. They shouldn't have even left in the first place, even though they are back. He moved the Thrashers back to Winnipeg, which that's one good thing he did, bringing Winnipeg a team back. But you know, but he shouldn't have moved them out of Winnipeg in the first place. And even if he did, he should have moved them to a city, another city that should have a team, like Seattle. You know, Seattle, Washington. Yeah, he should have put a team in Seattle, but no, instead he puts a team in Phoenix, Arizona. You know, and they are at the bottom of the league at attendance. You see a Coyotes game, there's a lot of empty seats, and there are more road fans. You know, same with the Panthers, Miami, or Sunrise, whatever. They're basically the same. Sunrise is just a little north of Miami, but they're considered Miami. But in Arizona, it's fucking hot. It's the desert. Hockey should be up north, where it's cold, not in Arizona in the desert where it's hot. How does the ice even stay frozen there? I'm shocked the ice stays frozen. How the hell does the ice stay frozen there? How, And same with Miami and the Panthers. They also are at the bottom of the league at attendance. I remember there was a game a couple years ago between the Panthers and Senators. Remember seeing the crowd at that game. And there were so many empty seats. It looked like only 10 people showed up. What the fuck? How do they still have a team? What the fuck? Move them back to Quebec City. They need the team back. And he moves the Nordiques because the Nordiques were like bankrupt or had financial issues, probably because of Bettman. Bettman's probably the reason they had financial issues. He moved them to Colorado, which Colorado should have a team, but they shouldn't have moved the Nordiques, I bet if Gary Bettman wasn't commissioner, the Nordiques would probably still be around. Another team, the Whalers. He moves the Whalers out of Hartford, moves them to fucking Carolina. Another bad place for hockey. They're also at the bottom at attendance. And now he expands to Las Vegas, Nevada. Another city in the desert. Another team in the fucking desert. What the hell? Why does he keep putting teams in the desert? Besides, Las Vegas is basically Kings and Coyotes territory. It's close to Los Angeles and Phoenix. Las Vegas is Kings fans and Coyotes fans. It doesn't need another team in that area. Stupid fly. But, in Arizona, they can't even fill up their arena. They have a lot of empty seats. What makes you think Vegas will support a team? Fuck. Stop putting teams in cities that shouldn't have a team in like the desert or whatever. And put teams in Canada like Seattle, Quebec City, Hamilton. Put teams there. Maybe bring the Whalers back, Fuck. Another reason Gary Bettman sucks. Ads on NHL jerseys. Now, I know there are going to be ads on the World Cup of Hockey jerseys. There's going to be ads on the World Cup jerseys. I don't know for sure if they're going to be on the actual NHL jerseys. I hope not. I mean, this has been a rumor for like a couple years now. I did a video talking about this a couple years ago, but I sincerely hope there's no ads on NHL jerseys. Why does he even want to put ads on jerseys and shit, Fuck, don't put ads on jerseys. There's already so much advertising as it is. There doesn't need to be any more ads and shit. Don't put ads on the jerseys, Bettman. God. And if there are ads on NHL jerseys, there better be at least a small patch like on the bottom or whatever, where you will barely notice it. If it ends up being like the European jerseys where there are ads all over, that'll cover up the entire jerseys and shit. You'll be able to see the jersey because all the ads will be in the way. Or it better not get rid of the logo and replace it with an ad, like the MLS jerseys, or But God, don't put ads on NHL jerseys. I hope they're not gonna do that. Again, I don't know if it's official or not, but I don't know. Another thing he did. Remember when the NHL used to be on ESPN? Remember? And ABC? Well, he moved the NHL to different television stations. He moved from ABC to NBC, which I don't mind NBC at all. But he moves the team from ESPN to the Outdoor Life Network. Why would you move, why would you get rid of ESPN broadcasting games? That's a sports network. The Outdoor Life Network, at the time it was the Outdoor Life Network, That has nothing to do with sports. That channel, renamed it. They renamed the channel to Versus or whatever, which became more of a sports network, and now it's NBC Sports Network. But you know, the NHL should go back to ESPN. He should have never, got rid of NHL on ESPN. You know. Another thing he did, he changed the NHL logo. Remember when the NHL logo was orange, when it looked like this? I like that logo better than today's NHL logo. It's now silver or whatever. It's like black and silver. I mean, I don't hate that logo. It's fine, but I like the orange one better. I like the orange one better. He also came up with glowing pucks, for a couple of the All-Star games, back in the late 90s. He decided to have glowing pucks, which is a stupid idea. The reason Gary Bettman sucks is because of the stupid rules that he came up with. He's came up with a lot of stupid rules, but really can't think of all of them. I know one of them was a couple years ago. He came up with a rule, fine for diving. If a player dives, they have to get fined. Really? What kind of a stupid rule is that? That's dumb. What other rules did he come up with? I can't think of them. I know he came up with other stupid ones. I just can't think of them. I'm not going to waste my time thinking of all of them. But, I don't know. He keeps changing the game. Changing how... changing the rules and shit. What's next? Is he gonna get rid of fighting? He better not. Fighting is a big part of the game of hockey. It's a big part of the game. That's one reason why people like hockey. We like seeing the fights. If they ban that, I don't know if I'll watch hockey again. But and they also came up with other rules like other stuff, changes of the game, 3-on-3 overtime or whatever. I like 5-on-5 in my opinion. I think it should be 5-on-5, but I don't know. Maybe it's so the game will end. There'll be a bigger possibility that the game will end in overtime and not a shootout. The game will end, earlier. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. But yeah. Another thing. I heard a rumor like a year ago that Gary Bettman and the NHL want to make the goalie pad smaller. The goalie pads are basically up to here. I got my goalie pads in my hockey bag, but I'm not going to take them out. I don't feel like it. But the pads are up to here or whatever, which is how it's supposed to be. But now Gary Bettman wants to come up the rule. I don't know if this is happening for sure, but wants to make the pads smaller, up to here or whatever, a lot smaller. What the fuck? Why make the pads smaller and shit? Fuck, if you do that, there's going to be more injuries, There's going to be a lot of knee injuries, Because it won't protect your knees and shit. The goalie gets hit in the knee, he'll be injured, The goalie pads are fine how they are. It's fucking stupid. That's a stupid thing. Leave the pads alone. Don't make them smaller, If you do, again, there's going to be no padding protecting the knees, and the goalie will get hit in the knee, will get a knee injury. So yeah, what's next? Will he get rid of goalie sticks? Will the goalies not be able to play with sticks at all? Is he gonna do that? If you're a goaltender, you're not allowed to use a stick. That's stupid. I wouldn't doubt it. Bettman's an idiot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything else. I know he's just done a lot of stupid things. There's more things he's done that I really can't think of. I'm not gonna waste my time thinking, or I don't want to make this video too big either, because tomorrow I gotta be up early, and I want to go to bed soon, so I'm not tired in the morning. So yeah, Gary Bettman. I mean, look at him. He looks like the Count from Sesame Street. Doesn't he? You know? Point of this video is Gary Bettman sucks. A horrible commissioner. He needs to get fired. The NHL needs a new commissioner. You know? The NHL needs a new commissioner. Someone better than Gary Bettman, who will not put teams in cities that shouldn't have a team. That will not, cost any lockouts and shit. And not, change the rules. Yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Again, I'd make this longer, but again, I gotta be up early, and I don't want this to be too long either. But yeah. So if there's anything I didn't mention about Gary Bettman, post it down in the comments section if you want. Yeah. So you guys have a good rest of your night. I'll do more videos, any type of video I do on this channel. I did an NHL 2K2 gameplay earlier, and I did a Save the Sheriff gameplay last night. Go ahead and watch those if you want. I don't care. But yeah. So yeah, have a good one, guys. See ya. Goodbye. I'll probably do another video maybe tomorrow. Bye.